Alright. The name is Delman doing the review for the new Doechii. Name of the album is called Alligator Bites Never Healed. This review is done on behalf of Old Heads Network. Alright, I had never heard of this chick before until I watched a few podcasts or listened to a few podcasts like PSA Reloaded and Hip Hop Talks, and they was just raving about this album. They were saying it was one of the best albums of the year. They were really giving this young lady praise on this project. So being that I have some trust in their opinion, I don't always agree with their opinion, but I do trust in it enough to where they spark my interest. I say, I never heard of this chick, so I gotta check this album out. The way they was talking about it, they were just saying it was phenomenal. So I went and digged in her past a little bit, and she's very new. She's only 26 years old. She has a few EPs, a few mixtapes previous to this album, and her style is very animated. She's quirky, but she's very talented. She can rap her ass off and she can sing. And she changes up her flow throughout the album, which I was very impressed with. Some folks are comparing her to like a new age Missy Elliott. I think she raps much better than Missy Elliott. I never thought Missy was a great rapper. She was creative, but I never thought she was that good at rapping, to be honest with you. I was never a big fan, but I do respect it and always have. Just was never really a fan of her music like that. But like I said, I do respect Missy. And with Doechii, she displayed so many styles on this album. Very witty. It has 19 tracks total on it, which I thought was a little too long for my taste, but anyway, the standout songs such as Stinky Poo, Bullfrog, Bull, Peanuts, Catfish, got a song called Wait, got a song called Nissan Altima. I thought there was some very different titles for songs, needless to say, but those were the standout songs on the joint. And I liked a few other songs on there as well that I didn't mention. But this being, I would say this is an album I appreciate more than I actually like. Like, there's more songs on the album that I really don't care for than I do, but those songs are not bad, they're just not for me. I was not as high on this album as those folks that I mentioned from the podcast were. But I understand why they are so high on her in this album, because she's a fresh breath of air compared to the rest of these female rappers in her generation, such as, the Ice Spice, Sexy Reds, Lottos, Gorilla, all those folks. She's very different from them, and she has her own lane, and she's not really leaning heavy on the sexuality and the ratchetness. She doesn't really lean on that heavy at all. She has so many tools in her toolbox that she doesn't have to rely on that shit. And I think that's why they are so high on her. But I thought the album overall was a B-. I would give it a B-. It's not an album, the overall album is not an album that I'm going to run a lot, but I understand why folks are so high on it, if that makes any sense. So with that being said, subscribe to the channel, like, and all that good shit, and I'm done.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
DLB.